I want to share words with you here as a shaliach, as a messenger, for a dear friend, a member of my community at New London Synagogue, one of the most remarkable people I have met. Noam Sagi's mother, Ada Sagi, has been missing since the atrocities of last Saturday. Ada's home, the place where Noam grew up, is Kibbutz Nir Oz, a beautiful place close to the border with Gaza. Last Saturday, attacking on the religious festival of Sukkot, the kibbutz was overrun by terrorists as part of a ruthless, planned military operation. Hamas broke into the kibbutz, along with so many other peaceful kibbutzim and villages along the southern border, and murdered and destroyed and behaved with a brutality that is beyond description. There are 1,400 dead as a result of these invasions, some soldiers, but there are 900 complete peaceful civilians who are dead in a country the size of Wales, with a population the size of London. I remember well the terrorist attacks of 7/7 in this country, and I remember the loss and the sense of grief all Londoners felt for 52 people murdered on that awful day. Last week, 1,400 were murdered. And then there are over 150 missing, presumed taken hostage, taken into Gaza. The mind, the decent human mind, struggles to conceive what this must be like. Many of us have seen the awful footage of a father whose daughter was initially thought to be missing, when he expresses relief that the daughter is merely confirmed dead. The heart breaks for any human being. And yet for Noam Sagi and for the family members of these innocent people, and so many of their photographs are behind me, people taken hostage, this is no time for grief, and not even a time for heartbreak, but a time for action. There is no time for Noam and for us for anything other than a rigorous focus on what needs to be done to get the hostages home. Noam is hurting, but he is so grateful for the support he gains from each of you here. He wants you to know that he is strong and resolutely focused on ensuring his mother and all the hostages can come home. Noam wants us to know about his mother, Ada, a teacher of Hebrew and a teacher of Arabic, a retired school principal well into her 70s, a woman who worked for peaceful coexistence between Jews and Arabs for decades, who now, in the year of her husband's passing, is in need of ongoing medical support. Such is the woman who has been declared missing, presumed kidnapped. Noam wants us to join with him in a demand that all the hostages be freed immediately and unconditionally, in particular the children, those under 18 and those over 65. In the name of everything that is human, how can anyone take such people from their homes and hold them as hostage in such a way? It is, he says, and I agree with all my heart, an affront to anything that is human to take such people and to hide such people. It is, and I agree with him, a matter of saving life, a moral claim and a religious claim that Jews and Muslims share. To save a life is equivalent to saving an entire world. That is his first call, that all the hostages be freed immediately and unconditionally, in particular the children and those over 65. His second call is that a humanitarian corridor be opened into Gaza to allow an appropriate organization in to verify who is there, to assess their most basic human needs. Ada is among the list of those missing who needs ongoing medical support. an organization, Red Cross, Red Crescent, Médecins Sans Frontières, anyone should be allowed into Gaza safely to assess and provide for the most basic human needs of these hostages. Standing here, outside this mother of all parliaments, Noam wants to share his appreciation for the remarkable levels of support he has received from his own MP, Dawn Butler. Dawn, if you are listening, Noam conveys his thanks. And his message to the British government is this: there are 17 British nationals murdered or missing, presumed kidnapped, and 2 further British nationals, of whom Noam is one, who have the closest relatives missing, presumed taken hostage. He needs, we all need, the British government to do anything that they can to get these people back, to show leadership internationally, to ensure the return of all civilian hostages, especially the women and the children, immediately. He shares he wishes a representative of this government would reach out to him directly. To any representative of this government, Noam deserves you to be directly in touch, to understand more, to show solidarity, and to be inspired to fight for the release of these hostages. His message to all of us here, particularly those of us who are British citizens, is to write to our own MPs, to call on our own MPs, to call this government to do everything it can to bring the hostages home. His message to the Israeli government is this: you have a responsibility to protect the civilians who lived along this border, who protected this border with their lives. To any representative of the Israeli government, Noam calls on you to do everything in your power to get these people out. Any pathway should be exploited. Any government, any organization can be contacted and must be contacted. I think it's also important for us all to know that Noam carries no hate for the people of Gaza. He carries no hate for people who are Muslim, no hate for the Arabs, no hate for the Palestinians. He is, of course, most concerned for the health and the return of his mother and all the other hostages taken from the kibbutz where he grew up. But his love of all humanity remains resolute, even tested as horribly as it has been, and his concerns for the people of Gaza who are now caught up in the aftermath of the murders committed by Hamas remains, as it does, as it must do for all of us here. The immediate release of these hostages will save lives. It will save the lives of the hostages. It will save the lives of those in Gaza. In our synagogue and in Jewish communities around the world, we shared a prayer for the immediate redemption of hostages as part of our Sabbath services yesterday. With your permission, I would like to share it now. But before I do, I would love to take a photograph of you all. You all look so wonderful, standing here, showing support. I want to take a photograph that I can send to Noam to share our love with him, our resolution to assist his resolution. I'm going to ask we take just a few moments to stand in silence to share these evocations of strength and these blessings with Noam and the family and all of those engaged in this extraordinary work in silence. And I will take a photograph which I will share with Noam and then lead a prayer, a plea to God and to any human being with a human heart who is listening. Thank you. O God, the one who releases the bound, refuge for the oppressed, refuge in time of trouble, send complete rescue and full redemption to those held captive by the enemy. Strengthen their spirits and bring them our prayers that they may be protected from all harm. Implant understanding in the heart even of the enemy, that they may return the captives in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant wisdom to the Israeli Defense Forces that they may secure freedom for the captives without loss of life. Grant strength of spirit and courage of heart to all the sons and daughters of Abraham, Sarah and Hagar, to release bonds of captivity and allow us all to live in freedom. And let us say, Amen.